I would say that today's match was one of the best innings that I've seen of how tactical moves can be done to betray the other team. And Kohli's inning on that pitch was a proper masterclass in reading conditions early and adapting faster than everyone else from both the teams. Of course, the surface was never easy. There were cross cracks, uneven bounce, and even the awkward hard length where one ball would skid through the and next ball would just hold in the pitch. Even Aaron Fitch mentioned before the game that the hard lengths would be the toughest area to face. And honestly, Kohli actually picked up that within his first few deliveries itself. That is elite game awareness. While if you see that others were reacting after the ball misbehaved, Kohli was already one step ahead of the pitch. From the very beginning, his shot selection told the whole story. That he completely avoided any kind of risky horizontal back shot. No flashy cuts, no hard, square drives, no compulsive pulls, which he tentatively does in the recent times. What he was trying to do instead, that he trusted the safest options for that surface. That means he was waiting more on the ball. He was trying to have the laid eyes on the ball. That was coming along with the wristy flicks. There was straight bat punches. There was controlled pickup to the ball, and there was checked lofted shot that he played at the very end of his inning. So on a pitch with such a variable bounce, the cross batted shot becomes invariable danger because one ball climbs up and the next ball can stay low. So for that you have to remove the premeditated shots from your arsenal, and you have to remove that risk very very immediately. What also I feel that stood out was how compact his movement was. Just a small trigger movement, slightly backhand across, head was perfectly still. He was very balanced, completely under the control. There was no unnecessary shuffle. That this all eventually made him or allowed him to watch the ball longer and make the decision later. Compare that to the inning of Bethel, for that matter, who kept planting his front foot on and pushing, in uncertainty outside of the length of the stump, which he was kind of getting beaten again and again. Kohli on the other side, which Bethel would have taken the masterclass from the other side, meanwhile waited for that extra fraction of a second. And on a pitcher like these, that tiny differences changes everything, and that was required from the Bethel inning as well. When you start feeling that there is an uneven bounce, try to play the shots as late as you can. Don't try to attack the ball just because you feel that you can attack the shit out of the pitch. So the biggest factor in the innings was how late he played the ball. Almost every shot came right under his eyes. There was a soft hand usage too much, whether it was against the Dubey, whether it was against Tyagi, whether when Narine came into, but even the slower balls or the cutters from the green, Kohli kept kind of delaying the last ball possible moment. And that is the safest method on an uneven surface because early bat swings will definitely bring the edges and mistime shots into the play. So playing late gave him actually the complete control of the game, and you could see it through the flicks, through the mid wicket or the open-faced guide that he gave, and the gentle nudges for the singles. It generally wanted to look simple, but technically it was a top-class batting. And look at the boundaries he scored. Very few come with the brute force. Most were glances to the fine leg, wristy whips behind the square leg. There was little pickups over the long leg. There was checked straight hits that he did against Anukul Roy in the very later of his innings. So he was not trying to overpower the pitch. He was using the bowler's space and simply, he was trying to redirect the ball. What it does, that reduces the chance of mistiming, and also it kind of shortens the bat swing, which becomes very crucial when the bounce is very inconsistent. You don't know where the bounce would take the ball. So his bat path, technically stayed very straight and close to the body, to which he was meant very fewer edges and clean contact to the ball. What made the inning even better, I feel that the way he adapted phase by phase. In the power play, he attacked only the genuinely overpitched deliveries or anything drifting onto the bats. Hard back of length ball, he genuinely wanted to respect those balls. So there was technically no ego battle with the shot. There was no forcing of the shot. Then against the spin in the middle overs, especially Narine, his scheme awareness really showed out. He used the crease very smartly. Occasionally, he went very deep to the crease, occasionally forward, and rotated the strike constantly. He knew that if he could, rotate the strike in the middle, he could transfer the inning to the end. Most importantly, I feel that he never allowed the dot ball pressure to build. And that's how, Narine traps batter. But Kohli kept breaking that rhythm with the singles. And that is why Narine was finding it difficult to reach. Because the bowlers like kind of Narine wants to deliver a kind of a trap in which they want to create a dot ball percentage in which the batter takes the step, in which the batter has an added pressure to hit the ball, not the bowler. So that is why he was facing the issue with that. He kind of also picked the slower balls extremely early. The cutters, the off cutters, the slower bouncers, everything that was adjusted by the waiting balls. He was trying to dwell into the deeper in the crease, and then he was trying to hit. If you see the six of Tyagi over long leg was a perfect example. It was not muscular. He simply stayed inside the line of the ball using the incoming pace. He rolled the wrist very late, and the timing, you can see that it was very beautiful. The most dangerous area on that pitch was the hard length that was around the stump, around or off the stump. That was the zone that was producing the slice hit. There was an awkward bounce over there, and top edges could have been the prone danger. So Kohli's solution was very textbook. He either get fully forward or fully back, no half footwork. So no getting stuck in the crease. He was not trying to be in the crease for any shot. Most dismissals on difficult pitches, generally, if you see that happens when batters are caught between the decisions. You don't know when to move forward and when to move ahead in deep in the crease. So he was very sure when he has to move forward and when he has to be deep in the crease. And that is why he avoided the trap throughout the inning that he played. Of course, I also feel, and this is my understanding, that his fitness played a very massive role. The aggressive running between the wickets, kept the pressure on the fielders and disrupted the bowlers with them altogether. Once became twos, and suddenly you see that field placement started changing. and that opened the boundary options later in the innings, which he mentally too just not carried the huge importance for him, because after the noise around the two ducks, even his first single brought up out of visible fist stump which he did, you could sense the release. He didn't start with the domination. He started with a very survival kind of an inning. He wanted to settle himself, and then slowly he tried to build that rhythm. One set, of course, we all know that he attacked gaps very brilliantly. Anything too straight disappeared into the leg side. Deep square gaps were clipped beautifully. He knew that deep square legs would be the area that he can target when the ball is trying to be played very late. He was not trying to hit the fielders. He was constantly hitting the bases of the ball, and that is classic Kohli ODI style intelligence that was blended into the T20 cricket. That was the beauty of the inning. The pitch was never flat. Bethel struggled a bit. Patidar also looked very rushed. Slower balls he were gripping, and that was stopping a bit. But Kohli was never fought the surface. He worked with it, and that is why this knock technically stood out. It was all about control, balancing, and there was timing, and he was trying to manage the risk. And that is what the great players do. They try to manage the risk as better than any other player would do. So most players either go fully defensive or fully aggressive on pitches like these. But Kohli somehow managed both together. He knew that low risk batting with a high strike rate can do the job. So now coming to the, let's talk about the points table and what is the schedule and understanding of the playoff race, because this win has put RCB in seriously strong position. They are sitting on 16 points with the best net run rate in the league at 1.053 plus 1.053, and more importantly, the momentum was fully with them. I feel that Kohli was in rhythm and the bowling attack is clicking, and the time and the team finally looks very balanced. And one more win, almost they will seal the playoff qualification.